Yeah, I mean, I played at like 170, 171 last year. About 194, 195 now. So
Really?
yeah, I'm telling you, that's what darkness does to you. It changes you. It changes you.
So sometimes people can say something, and you're like, okay, yeah, that sounds good. Then there's times where somebody says something, and you're like, oh, that sounds different. When Jalin Hyatt did that interview with John Schmoke, the wide receiver interviews with John Schmoke, he made a lot of comments. He said a lot of things, and he gave us a little peek into what he was going through. And when he said that that's what darkness will do to you, it'll change you, it resonated. And for me, I'm sitting back like, I'm already a guy that's high on Hyatt, no pun intended, right? Have not given up on the potential that's there still. Don't want to be fooled by the OTAs and the mini camps and stuff like that. Things have to happen on the field when it counts. And for those that haven't listened to that interview or watched that interview from John Schmoke, I suggest you guys go back. There's some things that were said that should open people's eyes to what, because a lot of us as fans, we've had our frustrations with the lack of production from Jalin Hyatt, right? And why are we upset? Because we know that he could be and should be, better than what we've been seeing. Now, there have been some factors to why we haven't been seeing him. I believe he was in a doghouse last year. He did mention that after the season, he spoke to Joe Shane, he spoke to Brian Dable, talked about, what they need. And they also asked him what he needed. And he made a lot of points. And it's crazy, too, because it was just a portion of the entire episode. But just his portion alone made me think, yeah, this kid is hungry. This kid has a chip on his shoulder. And this kid has something to prove out there. And they talked about he talked about how last year he played at 170, 171. We heard all the rumors, players talking about Darius Slayton saying he might have added on 10 to 15 pounds worth of muscle. And he pretty much just blew us out the water. He said, I'm about 194, 195 right now. So to go from 170, 171 to 194 to 195, that's a 20-pound difference, man. Over a 20-pound difference, I should say. And that's a lot of weight to gain for a guy that had a frame the way that he's built, because he was a slender guy or a slim guy, and he's noticeably a bigger guy. And he said that he felt weak, that he had to get stronger. He also doubled down on his belief, and he said that he can run every route. And when he said these things, and for somebody like me that has watched Jalin Hyatt closely, I believe him. I absolutely believe him. He said, John Schmoke said that he didn't have a lot of, chances last year. He said, yeah, I didn't have a lot of chances, but I also didn't take full advantage of the opportunities that I did have. Now, that sounds like maturity. That sounds like somebody just taking responsibility, for his portion of what happened on the field and, the last couple of seasons. But sometimes I like to think about how that player is thinking, how they're wired, and I get nothing but good vibes from Jalin Hyatt. When you looked at his family, when they had the pre-draft process, I think it was an NFL Network special, and he was talking about what the type of work he goes through. When they showed him at his pro day talking to the Dallas Cowboys wide receiver coach at the time, and he basically tell him all he had was speed, and he said, no, I can run routes. And a lot of people do not believe that. Now, he has had his struggles. Like he can't get off the line. He can't beat the press. These are all things that people have said. Analysts, not just me, not just fans, but analysts have been saying the same things. The man gained 20 pounds in one offseason. From all reports, he has not lost any of his speed. There's no way a guy that's 170 pounds gains 20 pounds and does not get stronger. It's impossible, especially because he doesn't look fat. He looks like he's in great shape, and he looks like an NFL wide receiver right now. And all that can do, especially with the added weight and the added strength, and he didn't lose any speed, All that does is makes him a better player. Now I'm thinking about the way Jalin Hyatt is thinking about things, right? I'm gonna put myself in the shoes of Jalin Hyatt. You go from being the Biletnikoff winner, best wide receiver in all of college football. You go from that. You go from, multiple touchdowns in a single game versus one of the best programs ever in Alabama. You go from that to going 2 full seasons in the NFL. Your first 2 seasons in the NFL not scoring a touchdown. When in that first season, in preseason, you got a touchdown, right? And you go 2 full seasons without scoring a touchdown or being a major contributor, especially in the second year. First year, we saw flashes. First year, he had games where, you saw the Arizona game, you saw New England, you saw the Green Bay games where he was out there making plays. And naturally, as a fan base, you think, okay, well, he gave assists in his rookie year. I'm pretty sure he's going to take the next steps, in his second year. We went out, got Malik Neighbors. You're like, okay, well, now we're building a core. You see the training camp, you see the preseason. He's out there making plays, and then we get into the season, and it's like he disappeared. And a lot of people are saying, well, he didn't know the playbook, or the coaches don't trust him, or he's limited. Imagine that. Imagine being the Biletnikoff winner. Imagine having the heights that he had, especially in his final year at Tennessee, and then being told you're limited. The kid has to have a chip on his shoulder. He comes from great stock. You saw his father, you saw his mother. All they do is work hard. All they do is work hard, and all he does is work hard, and that's proof. Again, he spoke about what Brian Dable and Joe Schoen are expecting. He also said that, or he also gave them, his opinion on what he can do. And it's funny too, because he mentioned, because we automatically put him on the outside, right? He did get some slot plays. We did line him up inside sometimes, but he made it a point to say that high school he was a slot receiver. All his years at Tennessee, he was a slot receiver. And then when he got to the NFL, he was primarily outside. This year, they're using him more on the inside as well. You're seeing more versatility amongst the wide receivers already through training camp and not training camp, but also through OTAs and minicamp. John Schmelk mentioned that you're seeing wide receivers moving around a lot. And it could be that these guys are on the hot seat, talking about Brian Dable. Joe Schoen was on the hot seat, in my opinion. He's no longer on the hot seat with the drafts and the free agency moves he's made. But when you have untapped talent, when you have people that you have not been utilized that have skill sets, you have to look inside. And I'm just talking about Brian Dable and also Jalin Hyatt at the same time. You have to look at yourself first, realize what's going on, see how you can correct things, and then move on from that, build your scheme from that, see how you want to use these players from that. And you have a wide receiver with full accountability. He let everybody know in that interview what he thought his weaknesses were, and he addressed it, and addressed it in a major way. So for me, you see the Hyatt is open, never lost faith, wavered a little bit because I did not see the production on the field, but I'm just letting people know right now. You can see it in the man's eyes. You can see it in the way that he's talking, and you can see in the way that he walked. Because 20 pounds in the offseason, going from 170 to 194, that's not anything small. That's a lot of hard work and dedication. You add hard work and dedication on top of talent, and you got a monster. You got a beast. You add a chip on the shoulder of a monster or a beast, then next year should be a fantastic season, or this year I should say, should be a fantastic season for Jalin Hyatt. But man, I just had to say something after watching that interview. I felt the energy coming off of the screen. Might sound corny, cool, but it is what it is. I got to keep it real, and that's how I'm feeling at the time. So with that being said, I want to thank everybody for vibing with me. Please like, comment, and subscribe. And from one Giants fan to another, this is Big Dash Knows, Big Blue Nation. Let's go.